Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with the capable and incomparable host, Dr. Tara Defoe, dig into real advice and receive restoration for your soul. It's a new time and place, so get ready to be informed and get motivated on the floor with Dr. Tara Defoe every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to the Highland Park Spotlight. I'm your host, Kisha B. Nah, I just looked at this video, my intro. I love it. Okay, I ain't gonna say nothing, but it's old. I need to update that. Amen. Praise the Lord. Because my hair is completely different. But we are here in studio today, and I am excited. I have a couple of people from the city of Highland Park that I think you would be interested in hearing what they have to say. So I have the CED Department's Director, Carlton D. Clyburn Jr. I'm going to put it all out there.
Thank you. I like that.
And then you also have Gerald Rice, who is from the building department, who assists with the CED projects, as well as he represents McKenna. Am I correct?
Yes, you are. Good afternoon.
All right, now. So we are going to have a conversation, right? There's a lot of things happening here in the city of Highland Park, and we want to make sure that everyone is knowledgeable of what's taking place, right? We've been seeing and we've been hearing so long about different things that's coming into the city, but yet have we seen anything? So guess what? There's progress. Amen. So I want to ask you guys, how does the Community and Economic Development Department, along with the Building Department, work together to ensure that new developments meet both the city's growth goals and safety standards?
Okay, well, y'all both looked at me, so I guess I'll start. So
Yep.
The building department is a function of the CED department, along with planning and some of the other boards and commissions. So the building department plays a major role, and it's for the health, safety of the community. You know, people look at it as, they're looking to get money, but no, they're actually, the building department is a function that helps keep people safe, and it improves the quality of life. So we have McKenna on now. I would like to thank Safe Built for what they did, because the city of Highland Park got our building department back in 2018. Prior
Wow.
to that, the state of Michigan was over our building department, so they would be doing inspections and permitting and everything like that. But in 2018, we got our building department back in house, and Safe Built was the one that came in. So recently in November, we got a planning department in McKenna, and we just brought the building department over as well, and we've been rocking and rolling. I just want to say something. You mentioned that we haven't seen anything yet. It's a lot of groundwork that needs to be laid before you start seeing cranes in the air. But when the groundwork is laid, you're going to be like, we can't move around this joker because there's cranes everywhere, and that's my goal. But I will tell you this, and Gerald, I'm going to give the phone to Gerald. He'll tell you he can't tell ain't nothing going on because he can't even sit down during the day. His phone, emails, calls, people coming to the windows. I mean, the building department banging. So, just welcome, Gerald. Yeah. It's all
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, I feel like my seat triggers the phone to ring, so I'm on my feet like 6 hours a day. I'm from Highland Park. I grew up here. I went to every school here from Thompson to Highland Park. So my interest in the city goes beyond just doing my job. My job would be simpler if I just did what they sent me here to do. But I see other things that could be improved, and I try to put a focus on that too.
Okay. So you mentioned that in 2018, the city gained its building department back, right? And Safe Built helped to facilitate that. What was how did McKenna come into that groove then? So was it, because I know there was, you were looking for a planning company, right?
Yeah, planning department, right.
Okay. So how did that come into the fold?
So we sent, the city did an RFP. Actually, it applied for a grant. And the grant was to bring in the building department. To bring in the planning department. So they did an RFP. McKenna put in and was chosen. So as we were waiting for the grant to be given, we didn't win the grant.
Okay.
But the state treasury, Kathy Square called the state, and the state was like, you know what, we understand where you at, and you need a planning department. So they did come with some funds. So looking at it, we knew McKenna had a building portion also. So we just wanted to bring the whole, just one entity in to cover it all.
Okay.
And it was like a fresh start.
Okay.
It was a very fresh start. I had just really came in as the CED director, and, we're getting this planning department in, and why not just bring one company in to do both functions, because they're already working together, the same staff, so it just made more sense.
Okay. I had a question and kind of answered it a little bit, so I'm gonna just move forward. So because there's residents, and I wanted to say this too, it wasn't that, it was just that for so long people say and they've heard about stuff happening in the city, and they haven't seen the results.
I know.
Yeah,
but I just had to say that.
I'm looking out for y'all. I just wanted to just throw it out there, and there has to be a lot of groundwork, because this is basically starting as fresh as you said, and you have to dig up the old to really lay a new foundation. So the new foundation is being laid. So can you speak to the process that residents or developers need to follow if they want to start a new project?
So they got to come see McKenna, or Kalinda. So if it's an offer to purchase, if they're looking to do some things, the building department is kind of that first step. But even outside of somebody doing new stuff, what Gerald has been doing is making sure what's going on, building the foundation. And I really want him to kind of talk to some of the things like with the rental ordinances and just the vacant property registration, just the real nuts and bolts of what's going to keep the city going. He digging up he digging stuff up, like making sure people got their permits. And it's so necessary, because for so long, some of these things haven't been policed. Things have fallen through the cracks. Turnover is a major thing. Every 4 years it's kind of new people coming in, but I look at it like an MCA. MCA been here for over 10 years, so the water department, engineering department is functioning. So I look at McKenna being that same type staple in the city, because even outside of the turnover in administration legislation, they can be consistent to lay the foundation, for a better future. But like I said, that's where I really want Gerald to kind of
fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
All right. So Gerald, the floor is yours.
Well, my window will be the first point of contact, whether it's something that the building department would address, or if it's something that goes to CED directly to address, like vacant property purchase applications. I take those and I, forward them on to Carlton's office. But if it's something for a building permit, we get a lot of renovations. A lot of houses are being renovated, and that comes to us.
Okay.
That gets reviewed by my building official, Don Jones, and in most cases, he turns those around same day, unless he's got additional questions or something like that. But trade permits, plumbing, electrical, mechanical permits, those, there's no waiting. Those get issued right away. And sometimes, an inspector will see something going on, we'll check the address, see, oh, there's no permit, we'll reach out to them and say, hey, you need to drop what you're doing and get into the office right away, because we need to make sure that gets inspected to make sure that the work is being properly done.
Okay. So if I had a house here in Highland Park and I wanted to tear down a few walls, add a couple of beams and structures, I got to come and get a permit.
Yeah, and if you're tearing down beams, you probably need a report from an engineer to make sure the house doesn't fall down when you take that beam out.
Touche. Now y'all heard that. It's live. He's telling y'all if y'all doing some work on your house to go to the building department, you need a permit. I didn't know that, but now I do. So.
Well, it really is going to depend. And, what we would ask is call us. Some things don't require permits, and we're not going to enforce something that doesn't require a permit. If you're having your flooring replaced, something like that, adding new carpet, tearing carpet out, things like that, we don't permit for that. That's something that's allowed without a building permit. If you replace a sheet of drywall in your house, it's not a big deal. But if you've got a whole room or you've got the whole house, you need a permit for that.
Absolutely. There you go. You have clarification. Amen. So speaking to having to come to the building department if you're interested in like a project here in the city of Highland Park, right? What are some of the projects coming that have already went through if you can speak to it, right, that has went through the process and it's taking place here in the city of Highland Park? Like, what are some of the new developments that's coming?
I know there's a cold storage facility coming. I think it's an already existing storage facility, and they're just changing it so that they can have cold storage. I'm not remembering the name off the top of my head, but I think there's a medical clinic that they've already gotten their permits for. I know there's other things in the pipeline, but I don't necessarily see that until they've gotten planning approval or something like that, and then they come to me for permits.
Okay.
Foot Locker or something.
Yeah. There's Foot Locker. Yep.
What? There's a Foot Locker coming?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
snap.
They moving out of, right now they're in the strip mall, so they're moving into the standalone building like you see across Detroit.
Oh, that's awesome. Come on, Foot Locker. All right. Anything else, any other current or upcoming projects?
Actually, we have a few. The Hamilton and Davidson. It's going to be a mixed-use residential commercial building, about 100 units. That's in the works. 8-unit apartment building on West Grand and Woodward. That's coming. And then it's almost like you know the Detroit Shipping Company? Mm-hmm. So we got something similar to that happening on Hamilton and Midland. So those 3 projects they have closed on, and they did buy city-owned property. So those 3, they did options to purchase. So they came in. I mean, that's what I said. Like the groundwork, there's so many different moving parts to it. Now we closed on it. Now it's time for them to go through planning, and then after planning, they got to see Gerald.
Okay.
But they have to see planning, get an approved site plan, then that's when his process start with the new developments.
Okay.
But because for the Foot Locker, since it was already existing structure, that really doesn't come to say CED, right? Because it was a private purchase, but they had to go to the building department because they're gonna be pulling permits to do the work.
Right.
So that's kind of like the different kind of levels of what's going on. So it's things happening and things happening.
Mm-hmm.
But it is. It's like when I'm looking at the invoices, these jokers is getting it. I mean, I'm talking between permits and inspections. It's like, boy, ooh-wee. I mean, it's so much. It's a lot of resources.
Oh yeah. There's a lot to juggle. So I got spreadsheets for everything.
Well, you gotta keep the spreadsheets.
Uh-huh.
But with all the different developments and stuff coming in, is there any challenges that you encounter in the building process, and how does the CED department collaborate to address the issues?
If it's something, an existing building, and there's a proposed change in use, we have a process for that, but that involves more waiting because it's got to go through the planning commission for review and approval. So they can't get their permits right away. Well, they can't even get a review for their permits right away because it's a change in use. And
Okay.
once they get their approval, then they give me plans and an application, and then it takes 5 to 10 business days for first review.
Is that the only challenge that you guys see?
Oh, not the only.
No,
That's just
no,
the first thing that
that's-
jumped in mind. No.
I mean, I'm just because I think people also have to understand that there's levels and there's different processes for different things. So if you put an application in for one, and like you said, change of use, and you decide, oh well, let's scrap that idea and go with something completely different, it changes the entire dynamics. And people don't understand that. Now I don't want to use the word repercussions, but it's it's a domino effect. It's other things that are affected by it. So.
So that's great. I mean, those, but like some of the real challenges are people challenges. Okay. Again, things haven't been enforced the way they're being enforced now. Vacant property registration. I'm gonna just talk to vacant property registration and rental registration. Those two. I mean, it's a lot of other stuff happening, but those two we're finding we're getting a lot of pushback or a lot of questions about. And where the CED department comes in is Gerald to shoot an email. I mean, the communication is fluid, though. I mean, we're communicating all the time. So it's, hey, somebody came in, or they're calling my office directly, like, what is this? What is this? Or they're calling the mayor's office, or why do I have to do this? Well, for one, it's in the ordinance. And for two, it's for your benefit. Okay, like the rental registration. And I really want Gerald to talk about that because that's been we had to shut it down. Okay, we're going to talk real plain. This Spotlight HP, we with Kisha B.
It is what it is.
Okay, oh, that was right on time. So it's different aspect. We were just kind of talking about it. So yeah, because it's a family exemption kind of thing, right? So Highland Park, old school. We both from here. We know it's a lot of family ties. So houses get passed down. So you got to do certain paperwork to make sure to secure yourself. And we have old ordinances on the books, so we have to update our ordinances. But in the meantime, it's still, and I really want Gerald to talk because Gerald, he could say it so sweet. He's smooth with it because he know it. But it's still other things that need to be enforced. And they coming in, they're registering their properties, but it protects the renters. It protects it avoid like slum lords. And it's a lot of them. But if they got to register their properties to make sure that living in a habitable home, you want to you don't want to avoid that. So, but I really like I say, Gerald, he been dealing with it and he been doing a great job with it, and I support it because it's in writing. So right now,
well, the only thing that I can do is enforce code and ordinance. I don't get to make up my own rules. The ordinance as it existed did not provide for a family exemption. And, I was very apologetic to anyone who explained that as their situation. Like, hey, I don't live here. I have a family member who lives here. It's like, I understand what you're saying. I understand that you don't charge rent, but it's not something that I can exempt you from. If you own it and don't live there, by city ordinance, it's non-owner occupied. It has to be registered as a rental property. There were enough people who pushed back that council said, hey, we need to take a look at this. So, but it does protect people because there are people who don't know that, hey, I got to put up with this hole in my floor or something like that, because he's only charged me $300 in rent a month or something like that. I don't want to make waves. Whenever I do get those complaints, I tell them, hey, what you pay in rent has nothing to do with maintaining the property. Those are two separate issues. It's like I can't really help you with, what you're being charged or anything to do with the rent amount, but the structure itself, there's a certain standard that has to be met and maintained. And that's what we can enforce. The rental ordinance may have been suspended for the time being, but we still have the property maintenance code that the rental ordinance is based on. So we still have enforcement capability. So, if someone says, hey, look, I got an issue with my home that I'm, paying my rent for and I'm not getting it addressed, call us. we're more than happy to come out. I'm working on one right now, and I'm hoping that the owners respond in due time, but the time is ticking. And, I've already told them, hey, look, here's the report. I gave them the information. This is everything that I found, and these are the people who I sent these letters to. I sent multiple letters because I had multiple addresses. It's like, I'm going to be back. Let me get a phone number so I can coordinate and inspect a reinspection with you when the 30 days is up to verify whether this work has been corrected.
That's a lot. Because it just makes me think about my family and how we've had when my grandmother passed, and how her property was passed along, and we had people that stayed in the house and we didn't charge any rent. And so with the ordinance stating that it would be non-owner occupied, and it has to be registered as a rental property, what does that look like? So is there fees that's associated with that? Is that something that they have to pay for on a continual basis, or what does that look like? Because Highland Park is built on family. This is a very close-knit community. Is 2.97 square miles, so everybody is kind of close together. So what if there is family properties? How? I'm just trying to figure out what.
Okay, well, let me make a minor adjustment. It's had with us having a moratorium on the rental ordinance. It's not being enforced on any property that is not currently registered. For everyone who registered their property prior to, those are in the process of getting their inspection. So ideally, we'll issue a certificate of compliance once they've had all their inspections conducted. But that is something that council is interested in making a family exemption for. And, I've explained to everyone who has gotten a letter since the moratorium, I don't need you to do anything. You can give me the application if you'd like. You can keep it if you like. There's nothing that I'm going to be doing so far as the rental ordinance, because we do not have the capability of enforcing that at the moment. But I've told them, once council has decided on how they want to alter it, then we'll be in communication with you so far as whatever we may need you to do at that point. We may need you to register if it's a family-owned property. We may need you to give us that application, but there is no inspection or payment requirement. In that situation, we just want to know that this is non-owner occupied, but who is living there, and just keep us up to date, provide us that application on a yearly basis, because registration is required every year. And the one thing that I would hope to communicate to everyone too, that even though there's no inspection or payment requirement, the property still would fall under the rental ordinance, meaning that if your sister complains, like, hey, he's not fixing this hole in this wall, whatever it was, or he needs to replace, like, we still have enforcement capability to say, hey, you need to comply. It's not a thing like, hey, just because you don't have to have it inspected does not mean that you can't keep that. You don't have to keep that up to a minimum standard.
Got it. Okay.
And I just want to interject something. It's kind of it's on a separate but the same topic. You look at these homes and these properties, right, and a lot of them are paid off, and that's like that's money, all right, at the end of the day. And one thing that we have to do better of is making sure that these homes are not falling into probate. So we really need to get our business together better anyway as a family. So if you got a family property and it's just kind of in limbo, you should look more into that. Maybe put it in a family trust or do things to kind of help prevent some of those things, because when you do pass on, what are you leaving your family? What are you leaving your children if when you pass, this house going into probate, or now it's a fight over it? Now, the family, you see it's so much. The family gets split, or, somebody feels slighted. I just feel like we need to be handling our business with these properties, because really this is the only generational wealth that we have.
Absolutely.
In these type of communities, or, with these type situations. So, it's kind of forcing us to get on top of our business and make sure that the family is keeping the home. Because I've seen so many instances where people are losing these homes. And you figure right now, some of these homes are worth $200,000-300,000. That's all to the good. And if you losing or if it's caught up in probate, that's generational wealth. I mean, you may not want to pull it, but guess what? That's something you have an asset.
Exactly.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one lady who's in that exact circumstance. Her mother passed. It was just her and her mother living in the house. Her mother passed, didn't have a will, and she doesn't have the funds to take it through probate, and she has to go it alone herself. I told her, keep me aware of your progress, because I don't want to register that as a rental property. It's you are living there, and it's just a matter of paperwork.
Yeah. That's
an instance where I could comfortably say, I don't have to enforce the ordinance, but keep me in the loop so far as your progress. And communication, like Carlton said earlier, communication is key to everything. I've written enforcement letters and sent them to people, and if they reach out to me and say, hey, can I get a little bit more time? I can give you a little more time. Yeah. Yeah. If you're having an issue with you got yard waste, but it's you by yourself, and you're 70 years old, and you're having difficulty, or you're waiting for somebody to come back, you got a broken leg or something like that. It's like I have room for that. I have sympathy for that. It's like because if I were in a similar circumstance, I would hope that somebody would give me the same understanding. But just because you receive a letter, don't ignore it. At least let us know what's going on. We can work out a plan. So long as we work out a plan and you stick to that plan, you're fine.
That's it. And that I'm gonna just, what's your word? Touche.
Touche.
Touche. You say it so much better than me.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, I got plenty of more questions. I got a page full, so we're going to still keep diving in, because I do have some questions that I would like to ask the both of you in regards to some of the upcoming events, not events, but projects, but just how can businesses, if they want to get involved and they want to do something here in Highland Park, how can they do so? So y'all keep it locked right here. It's the Highland Park Spotlight. I'm your host, Kisha B. We'll be back right after this.
Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. You can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. Be seen on WHPR Detroit Live, Comcast Cable Channel 91, on the web at TV33WHPR.com, with the TV33 app, on Roku, Google TV, Apple TV, and on Amazon Fire TV. Act now. Time slots are limited. Sign up today and get a free replay with the purchase of your time slot. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
Feel good about your future with tuition-free programs at Wayne County Community College District. Whether you want to be in healthcare, computer science, the culinary arts, digital media, or robotics and automation for the next generation of vehicles, WCCCD has you covered. A full range of programs to achieve your goals, fit your schedule, and give you all the support you need to be successful. All of it tuition-free. Now there's something to feel good about. Register today at wcccd.edu.
Your radio is now on TV. Your TV is now on radio. WHPR 88.1 FM can now be heard and seen worldwide. The same platform that hosts all of your favorite content now has WHPR TV and radio. Have your own radio or TV show on Roku with approximately 8 million homes. Debut your music video, clothing line, church ministry, plays, or products. A limited number of slots are available, so act now. For more information, visit RokuDetroit.com or call 313-868-6612. You heard about it. Now come be a part of it. Roku Detroit Worldwide. Approximately 8 million viewers.
Back to the Highland Park Spotlight. I'm your host, Kisha B, and I am here with the CED department and the building department of the city of Highland Park, and we are talking about some stuff that you might want to listen to, okay? From new projects, what was it called? The rental ordinance?
The rental ordinance.
The rental ordinance, passing down homes and how that process works, and it's a lot, right? So if you missed the first half, go back later and watch it on YouTube, okay? There's a lot of information that was given that you might need later, okay? But I do want to continue the conversation because I have some questions. Let me scroll. There it is. So we talked about some of the challenges that you guys face, but I want to get into the vision, right? So can you both share the city's long-term development vision, what it looks like, and how your departments are working to achieve these goals while ensuring safety and inclusivity?
All right.
Yep. Just like that.
We look at the city of Highland Park being a renaissance. All right, the comeback story of the century. That's my word, and I'm sticking to it because from what Highland Park was to where we're at and where we have the opportunity to go is like a complete 360, like right back to that. So, you know, you talk about this 2.97 square miles. It's almost like a blank canvas for Michelangelo. And with McKenna, with our other community partners, the state, the county, MEDC, MISTA, SIMCOG, all these people that's really want to see Highland Park in a better place, we are planning out what it should look like. And that's why I say, you know, that's a lot of groundwork being laid. It's a lot of relationships being built because for so long Highland Park has been working on an island by itself. And, you know, we got to get out of that mentality and attitude. So even within the city, you know, departments kind of working, you know, by themselves. So now, you know, we making sure MCA is involved with everything because that's our engineering water department. They are a key component to all of this. So when things come in like the building department and engineering and water, they got to communicate a lot because they have a lot of contractors doing a lot of work. You know, all the streets are tore up, the water main project, the lead replacement lines, a lot of this work, that stuff still go through the building department. You know, so like I mean, as we planning things out, you know, we need to know what's going on with the water, and they need to know what's going on with us because as things are happening, we don't want to, you know, if we're going to open up the ground, let's open it up one time. If we're going to do something, let's do it one time. You know, so that's where that collaboration, coordination come into play. But back to your question is, we know this region is a high region where Highland Park can be one of the best. We can have some of the best housing stock in the region. And I say we can have the newest and most affordable because we got that kind of opportunity and where we sit. And how the building department plays a role in that is that we making sure everything is funneled through the building department. So it's up to code, it's up to ordinances, the health and safety of the residents that's here, along with setting the groundwork and foundation for the people that's coming in.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
It did.
Okay, I just want to, because sometimes, you know, I can get off, but I like answering questions. Yeah. But if I go, you know, right, just, you know.
Don't worry. I got it. But.
Right.
But all right. So how does the CED department engage with local businesses to also help foster the growth that, you talked about as far as the new renaissance, right? And does the building department also play a role in facilitating any of those efforts?
I keep feeling it. So the building department plays a role in everything. Okay,
right.
So new businesses, existing businesses, they all got to come to the building department,
right?
Because we got people that go into them stores or people that visit them, and they got to make sure that the facilities are up to par. I'm gonna say this, but we gotta let Gerald get in too. You know what I'm saying? He keep looking at me, but
I mean, any one of you guys can answer this.
So what am I doing for those businesses? We just recently had the SBA, SCORE Michigan, Small Business Development Center, and the county come in talking about research. We did a lunch and learn over at Michigan Works where they came in and talked about resources and tools available for small businesses. The county has grants coming up for these small businesses because one thing that we want to make sure that we're doing is protecting the businesses and the residents that's been here through all these hits as we're building out. So as new businesses come in and building these nice new buildings, we need to make sure we're getting grant money for facade improvements and they can bring their businesses up to code. So with the bill when Don Jones from the building department go out there and do his inspections, they up to code. Would you?
Absolutely. The building department, our first goal is to support the mission of the CED. By applying codes and ordinances where appropriate. My goal is to get to yes. It might not be the path that you want to take, but it's if I can get you to a yes, you can do that. I'll give you that information. I'll tell you all the no's to avoid, so that you can hopefully get to that yes. Like Carlton is saying, we want to protect residents and businesses. We have the Michigan Building Code, Michigan Plumbing Code, Michigan Mechanical Code, National Electric Code. Those all have minimum standards that have to be met for any renovation or any new construction. There are houses and businesses that might be grandfathered in that might have existed before those codes came into play. But once they make a significant change, then we have the expectation that you're going to meet that standard, so that anybody coming to your establishment or coming into your home will reasonably believe that they're going to be safe.
Okay, so there's a lot of local businesses, right? So if I don't hear anything, it's a good thing? Is that true in this instance? If they don't hear from you, it's a good thing? Or do you guys actually go out and actually meet or talk with the local business owners to find out what's going on within the business itself?
That's not a typical function of the building department.
Okay.
We operate under the assumption that everything still meets code unless we have reason to believe otherwise. Like if someone calls and complains, I had a complaint about a business having a leak in the roof. So I had an inspector go by to take a look. And, if they verify, yes, there is, then we send them a letter saying, hey, we need to get this corrected by such and such date. And if we don't witness that, then we close the enforcement. We can only act upon what an inspector has actually seen. Now, if a resident has seen it, I feel for you if you see it and we don't, because we can't take action on that. And it could very well be possible that what they're seeing is true, but if we can't see it, we can't do anything about it.
So is it possible that residents can actually call the building department and say, hey, I visited this location and I saw this and I saw that? Would you guys then take the initiative to send an inspector out just like
Absolutely.
you did in the previous?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Do it all the time. I do it every single day.
Every day?
Every single day.
Wow. How many times a day? Because that's my question.
Yeah, I can generate a report, but I don't know. I can't count that high on my fingers.
That means both hands is gone every day. Wow. Okay.
And another thing that the building department has done and continue to do is we talk about building that foundation is taking a look at our ordinances and making sure that we're up to date. I mean, we came in and our fee schedule was off, so we bumped our fee schedule up. We updated some ordinances already just off spot checking, but now we meet monthly, and one of our topics every month is what ordinances need to be updated. As we are uncovering, because when you start opening things up, you're digging out, you see a lot more. So it's
right.
like as we are moving forward, as we get in the calls, as you getting acclimated with the city of Highland Park, what do we need to improve to make sure that the businesses here are in compliance? But more importantly, as we build and out, we want to build out on the right foundation. So we want to get these things and work out the quirks and the tweaks as new businesses come in and grow, because we have a lot of room for growth.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And this is interesting because a lot of the work that's being done right now, like there in North End, a lot of stuff been taking place in Highland Park is right here. It's next. Like, it can't just skip over and keep going. It's because you go into a whole nother area. But it has to end here, right? So I'm excited. So speaking of being excited, what's one development initiative that the both of you are particularly excited about? It could be different. It could be the same. And who do you think it will benefit the most in the city?
I want to start with Gerald because he keep looking at everything. Like, no, because I'm curious to, because I want to know what you think, because you are in a whole different place. Well, you downstairs, so yeah, what you think?
I would say the Joe Louis Greenway.
I was gonna say the same thing.
The Greenway.
I mean, I don't even know all of the impact that it's going to have. So that's one of the things I'm excited about. I want to pull apart that puzzle and see what's in it. I want to see what it does.
Oh.
Because that's the rising tide that's going to lift all boats.
So with the Joe Louis Greenway, I know that I saw there's a path over by the coffee shop, not the coffee shop.
Baccaris Brothers?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's coming through there, and it's cutting across, and it's going
across Woodward.
Across Woodward. Has there been any projects or anybody interested in space out right by the Greenway at all?
So we're taking a look at that, and one of the things that we're doing on the planning side is taking a look at the zoning and seeing how we can leverage that economically for the city of Highland Park and property owners along there. So one of the paths is close to North Point, right? And we know North Point is one of our areas that needs some love, but it's also an area that the state, the county, the city own a lot of property. So we got a slick project over there that's going to spark some nice development for North Point. And so, but the Greenway that's what's going to be that igniter. Okay. And so that area, you got going across Woodward with the viaduct. You got it's next to the rec center. It's next to the old football field. So it connects all of that. And it's such a, like you said, and then to actually see the pavements, because if you go out there, like if you go on 2nd Street, you can see the pavers going to 3rd. You can see, what's going on in Woodward. If you look at under the viaduct and see how they redid the viaduct, and I mean all that stuff is exciting to me. Yeah.
So is there like a date of when they may be finished with that?
The Greenway itself is supposed to be done the end of the year.
Oh.
Yeah.
This
like
year?
the Detroit, yeah. So the Greenway is owned by Detroit, but
right.
So now what we're doing as the city of Highland Park is we're looking at, we got to get on it and leverage and make sure that we're taking back some of our properties, because with this it also uncovers that, because it's like, hey, what is this our property? Why is it fenced in? Hey, knock this down. You know what I mean? But I talk to legal first. Don't. Yeah, got to talk to legal. But that's opportunity. And then the property owners next to it, it's like, hey, do you know what's going on? We need to meet. We need to talk, so you can see what's going on, so we can leverage it and make sure that everybody's benefited. Because what it did for the city of Atlanta, they call theirs the Green Belt or something. I mean,
that thing. I used to live down there, and I used to ride my little scooter all the way around.
But this is non-motorized. Ours is non-motorized. That's the only difference from the one in Atlanta. But that's fine, because it's a lot smaller. Atlanta's is a lot larger, but the economical impact that it had on that area was huge. And when this thing was first introduced, I believe in 2018, you know, I started looking at what was going on in Atlanta and how they leveraged it. I mean, they built residential, they built commercial, they built mixed use. So that's the kind of thing I want to model ours after. And then even the city of Detroit to tell you, the Highland Park portion of the Greenway is the best one because we cross Woodward.
And there it is. They can't take that. Speaking of Atlanta, so maybe y'all can find somebody to do this project. Ponce City Market. Know about it?
I don't.
No? No. Ponce City. Audience.
Okay.
No, Ponce City Market is right off the belt. And it's a fascinating space. I used to be down there so much, and I could see something like that here in Highland Park. They took it's a industrial building, and on the first floor is all restaurants. It's all restaurants on the first floor. The second floor is a mix of restaurants, not too many, but there was like stores, clothing stores and whatnot. And then you had the rooftop, and on the rooftop, there was golf. Like they had putt, they had bars, they had listen. I
got the space. I know exactly where we can
like
do that.
it was so awesome, but it brought in so many people. It was literally a cash mine, and it built up that area over there.
How big is it?
Oh, it's huge.
So you know, but can it be scaled down?
Yes,
okay.
But it's huge. And for so long, I've been wanting to see something like that here.
Can you email me what you
Yep.
just said?
Listen, y'all, he think I'm playing. I'm gonna send this email as soon as we get back, because I like it's a place where you can eat, you can laugh, you can play games. Like they literally had an arcade upstairs, you know, on the rooftop, and the roof was only open at certain times for adults, certain times for kids, you know, and it was just an amazing space. And to have something like that here in Highland Park, I think would be really dope.
So I got a question for you then on that. You being the marketing genius that you are, will people come, and how would you promote something like that here in the city?
So it will speak for itself, because once people have a space that they can gather and congregate, people like to eat over food. I'm a foodie. People like to eat over food, you know, and people love to have a space where they can get out, and it wouldn't take much.
No, I mean, but the word would have to get out.
Oh, that'd be easy.
Okay.
Highland Park Spotlight.
the word will get out. That will be easy. What's the day? Yeah, we gonna make sure.
June 25th, Wednesday, 2025. It is exactly 12:46 p.m.
We're gonna hold Kisha B accountable.
Whoa, wait a minute! I just got the idea.
No, because you have to market it. You
I
have
just
to
got the
market it
idea.
too. Because I can work to make that happen. And we're gonna make something like that happen. And because I right now, what you just described, I know this the best spot, and I can see that.
Yeah, because right off the Greenway,
Yeah,
it's going to attract attention. People will ride the Greenway just to come, you know, and be there and have a space, or walk the Greenway.
Or ride
hey,
the
you
bike.
can
Yeah,
scooter,
ride the bike.
walk,
Not
ride.
scooter. No, no, like no.
I mean, what about the push scooter or skateboard or something?
I don't know about
you
all
know,
that,
but all right, listen,
I just don't want it
I tried.
I don't want
okay,
to get out of hand. Hey, you know, because we don't want people on there, you know, dirt bikes and stuff, you know, motorized stuff. But
we can't do that.
No, but it you know, we make sure it's parking available also. And it could be like an entry point where you can come and you can walk, or you can meet and gather. Yeah. No, I can see the perfect spot for that.
I'm trying to tell you, it would do huge for Highland Park.
Yeah, email me that.
If I can add on to that, I saw something in Muskegon I would like to see here. They had a street. I was there in the winter, so they weren't open, but they had like shed-sized structures that were for individual businesses. I'm supposing that they could rent them. They had like a dozen, 2 dozen of them just all down the street. And you could just, I guess, rent that little space, sell your wares. Like that. I thought that was really cool. I'd never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, I know some spots like that too. We gonna, oh man, see, this Greenwood, it's like it could be a beautiful Pandora's box.
Yeah, but that's another thing too, as far as community engagement, just bringing people in, because as people bounce ideas and they talk about the different things that they would like to see, it's Highland Park. You know, residents want to feel like they're a part of it. And speaking of that, how does CED ensure that residents' voices are heard in regards to major developments?
So we did a community engagement. We did a community open house last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. You put it out there too.
I did.
You helped promote it. And we got about 20-25 people out. I think that's good because people came with some good ideas, and it was a lot of the same ideas. So when you keep hearing the same thing, then you got to take notice. And over the next couple months, we're going to be doing a lot of community engagement. What I mentioned earlier about the state kicking in for the planning department, that's also a portion of that money is directly for community engagement, because as we build this plan out and we update the master plan and do some of these economic development plans, we need to hear from the community because we want to build this. And one thing I really don't like to hear is, oh, we didn't know. I don't know how. Me and you talked about this. We don't know how. And I tell everybody, click on the website to get the
email updates.
And they come out. I'm a witness because I get them I get them at noon.
That's exactly when I said it. It go out at noon
on Sundays. It start on Sunday.
You're right.
And it's there. So how do you not know? Everybody has a phone. Everybody has an email. Even people that don't do emails got emails because they got to set up their phone through an email. So I don't really think there's any excuses anymore. If you don't know, I just think you don't want to know. And I ain't being like mean at nobody. It's just the reality of it. Like, you also have to seek the information.
Yeah.
We're not hiding anything. We're so open and transparent. You could call Gerald about any and everything. He gonna kick it with you. He gonna talk to you. He gonna return your call. He gonna return your emails. If he don't return it in 5-10 minutes, you gotta understand. Like he said, as soon as he sit down, the phone rings. So it's like a trigger. So the man is busy. All right, he's a one-man operation down there, manning the phone in the window, and then we got Don Jones, our building official, that's going out in the field. So we're doing this short-staffed, and I believe we're doing a great job. I believe we're handling it. And yes, there's room for improvement, room for growth, but that's why we talk. Every month we sit down as a department, planning, building, code enforcement, CED, and we talk about, everybody give updates. We make sure we're communicating so everybody's on the same page.
Yeah. Because
we short-staffed, but we making sure that we are all committed and working together.
That's good. That's something that's been necessary for a very long time. So it's good to see that y'all meet on a monthly basis like that.
Say it.
You already thought it. Let it come out.
Get her a napkin. You see her blood. She done bit her tongue.
Because my next question, but I'm like,
yeah.
But okay, so my next question was, how can residents learn about the progress of ongoing building projects and so forth? But you already hit on the point that if they don't sign up, they don't know any information.
And listen, it's a sweet new newsletter. Oh, I saw it. y'all gonna like it. Keisha B, great job.
Thank you.
I think the newsletter is great. I think that's a beautiful added touch. And you hitting them. Like I say, I get the text messages, so I don't know what else to say and do.
Yeah. I say the same.
So,
Because I'm trying to fill in the gap, right? And I get that everybody doesn't have technology.
but they,
Well,
do
and
they not?
that's-
I mean, how they? I mean, phone like the phone is the
Listen,
they giving them away on the corners. They giving away
They giving
iPad.
them away on the corner.
tablets on the corner. They are. So it's like,
Listen, hey, new newsletter is dropping.
my bad. I ain't even steal your thunder, but I mean,
July 1, okay? Thank you to the Highland Park Fire Department, for they are going to take these newsletters and walk them to the house.
you going door to door with it?
Yes.
I didn't even know. I thought it was gonna be electronic.
No. Door to door.
Oh man, I don't want to hear nothing.
Door to door.
I don't want to hear nothing.
You also have the added option if you call the building department with an address. If I got a building permit, I'll tell you what it is. I'll give you a status.
And
I'm
boom,
not
there
going to
it
give
is.
you, contractor's phone number and stuff like that necessarily, but owner information. I'll tell you who the owner is, but I'll tell you what the project is. I'll tell you, hey, they're getting inspections. If I have that information, that's public information.
Yeah,
Okay.
Anything public, I will provide.
we are open and transparent with nothing to hide, because we following the book, and we need the book updated. We go to council. So if we need something changed or updated, we going to council. Like we're working on this graffiti ordinance now, because I know I'm tired of looking at the graffiti, and I'm sure residents and visitors is tired of looking at it. So we need to strengthen our graffiti ordinance. So it's something we talked about, and we're working with council on adopting a graffiti ordinance to help clean some of this up.
All right. Well, y'all heard it right here on the Highland Park Spotlight Show. I wish we had more time, because I got another question. I got some stuff I could say, but I'm going to hold my tongue. Amen. We are going to close out. Thank you for watching. If you missed the show, you can catch it. You can catch the replay on YouTube. You can go to WHPR TV Detroit, or you can go to the City of Highland Park and find it there as well. This is your girl, Kisha B, and I'll see you guys next time.
Your radio is now on TV. Your TV is now on radio. WHPR 88.1 FM.